Welcome. We are your hosts, Chris and Tammy.
In this podcast, we dive into the mindset for networking strategies and skills you'll need to build a solid foundation to build a global business.
We've built a multi-million-dollar business and have mentored thousands of people around the globe in the last 25 years. People may not always appreciate difficult times and challenges, but this is when you really shape your personality, your skills. And over time, when people see you staying the course, people tend to gravitate and start earning respect for you. And this is how you tend to grow as a leader. And people recognize that. And this is what people look for when they look to follow someone is familiarity and someone they know where they're going and they're not changing the flavor of the month of what they're doing every time something doesn't go well. So really what measures you as a leader is how you face adversity. You know, leadership is not about saying new things to old people. It is about saying old things to new people. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. You got to repeat the old things that you said to the old people that got, you understand what I mean by old people, not old by age, but old in sense that they've been in the business for a period of time, is you want to say the old things to new people, constantly new people. And what happens is this will gravitate towards bringing other people, which will eventually turn you into some kind of a momentum, which eventually could actually be absolutely massive for you. So the point here is that you want to say old things to new people and not trying to always find new things to say to the old people to keep them active and engaged. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so bring new people on board and repeat the things that you've said 2 or 3 years ago that got you to where you were so you can help them get into the duplication process. And you know the secret to solid residual income is proper duplication that's occurring within yourself to your organization. Here's the thing. Convenience and greatness cannot coexist. Absolutely cannot coexist. If the enemy of success and greatness is comfort. Be careful. A great book that I do recommend for you to read is Who Moved My Cheese? Phenomenal book. Because it talks about these little characters that were hanging on to that big piece of cheese, which eventually it disappeared and they turned around and were left behind because they didn't want to get uncomfortable again to be able to continue evolve. And we know we live in a society today that it's very important to become uncomfortable again. So the fact is for you to benefit from that new momentum, you have to become uncomfortable to become comfortable. But again, when you get comfortable, don't get too comfortable. It's important that you constantly gravitate towards evolving, learning. Listen, you need to embrace inconvenience as a way of life. If you're always trying to look for the convenience and things to be the way they were, you're doomed for failure. And I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm trying to help you realize what you need to do to gravitate towards the level of success you're looking for. Maybe you never had that success. But embrace inconvenience as a way of life and adjust. Because these adjustments is where you will grow, you will evolve. Your personal, your skills will evolve. Your communication skills will evolve. Your knowledge will evolve. So we've learned to embrace inconvenience as a way of life. And if you do that, success is inevitable. Here's something that's really important because I know that sometimes, in this kind of business, people tend to put you into that guilt trip. But just something that I need you to understand. You do not leave people behind. They stay where they are because of their beliefs. You need to understand that. So if you choose to evolve and you choose to follow up and invest into yourselves and you start participating, not just learning, but also acting on what you learn and participating on what you learn. And that's what's the big difference here. What will happen is your personality would change. Your style of communicating and sharing will change. Your knowledge will evolve. And some folks choose not to. And because they choose not to, they're not seeing any changes. They're not seeing any growth. Their people around them may not want to follow them. And what's happening is they're kind of being left behind. But they left behind not because you didn't encourage them to do so. It's because they choose to remain where they are. And if you apply some of those principles, some of those tips, I'm telling you, it will impact your life. Keep an open mind and apply this. It can completely change your life as it did for us.